All right, folks, a national boycott of McDonald's is underway, led by the People's Union USA. They're accusing the fast food giant of backing away from its promises to the black community. Earlier this year, McDonald's quietly scaled back key diversity initiatives, dropping its aspirational representation goals and removing a DEI pledge for suppliers. The company claims it's just shifting to a more integrated approach to inclusion tied to business performance. But folks say, the community say, they see it differently. Now, in addition to that, more than 40 former black McDonald's franchisee owners are already suing the company. They allege systemic discrimination, and they've now joined the boycott. The former franchise owners are calling on the company to keep its promises, renew its commitment, and do right by the black operators who say they were denied a fair chance at success. McDonald's insists its commitment to inclusion is unwavering and says the boycott's claims are misleading. The boycott runs through June 30th. Joining us now is Quinn Rollins, attorney for the plaintiffs, and Kenneth Manning, a former McDonald's franchisee. Glad to have both of you here. First and foremost, Quinn, how many different franchisees are you representing in this lawsuit?
It's approximately 47, Roland, from all around the country, from Florida to Georgia, Illinois. It spans the gamut across the United States because they have a shared experience.
And what is it that they are alleging?
Yes, so we have multiple claims. The big claims are racial discrimination in contracting with McDonald's and racial discrimination in the leases they received. But ultimately, they are alleging that they were given stores that were less profitable in neighborhoods that they didn't necessarily prioritize, and they had unreasonable expectations about what these franchisees were able to do, had unreasonable expectations of timeliness. And some of that is because we argue and allege is because they were intentionally discrimination against franchisees because they were black, like Kenneth Manning.
And when you talk and when they talk about in terms of what's being unfair, are they alleging that the company put them in difficult positions to succeed and provided better opportunities, better locations for white franchisees?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the beauty of the court allowing, ultimately, we believe they allowed us litigation to proceed. The franchisees that we represent, the individuals, will have an opportunity to explore all those white owners and create the evidence about the opportunities they received that our clients did not.
Kenneth, where was your store or stores?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roland. My stores were located in two markets, in Montgomery, Alabama. We had 5 locations in that market. And then the next TV market was the Birmingham, Alabama TV market.
So you had a total of how many franchises?
I had 15. I did 15 stores in one night, Roland. I sold 3 of my restaurants to my brother, or at least 2 of the 3 to my brother. We were both in North Carolina at the time. In late 2009, early 2010, I did a deal for 15 restaurants in one night in both of those markets.
No, 1 second. When you say 15 restaurants in one night, what does that mean?
Yes, so I sold 3 restaurants on December 8th, 2009, and bought 15 restaurants on December 8th, 2009, in one night. That's correct.
Okay. And then what happened next?
Well, I picked up an additional restaurant. McDonald's called and asked me to help them out to avoid litigation from a white owner, actually, who was going to sue them in about 2 weeks. And McDonald's asked me to pick up this Centerville location in Centerville, Alabama, which I did sometime in 2011. And I did that. And so that became the 16th restaurant that I owned in that market. Okay.
So you own 16. Then what happened?
Well, I can tell you there was a deal that was offered to me when I took over the 15 restaurants. They would ask me to move up a rebuild of my West South location 4 years earlier than it should have happened, or that we agreed to happen in the contract, in the purchase and sale agreement, with the intent for me to receive another restaurant, the Hope Hall location, which was about 1.5 miles down the road. After picking up the 16th restaurant, I get another call from the QSC VP, the Vice President of Operations, and stated that he was not going to award me that store and that he was going to award it to a white operator some 40 miles away. Of course, I pushed back and said, that's not the deal that we had. And he basically said, well, you're unexpandable. The team says you're unexpandable. The field service team says you're unexpandable. I immediately responded, I'm not unexpandable. And my last operator review suggested that I was unexpandable, said that I was unexpandable. He held to that and said that there were two standards. One, that if you buy a restaurant from the field, you can do that being unexpandable. But if McDonald's offers you a restaurant, you need it to be expandable. I said, well, McDonald's offers.
Hold up. For the people who don't, what does expandable and unexpandable mean?
It means you have an opportunity to grow your organization, right?
But I'm confused. You did that. You went from.
Oh, that's correct.
You went from 1 to 5 to 16. So what did they lay out to you what the definition of unexpandable means?
Well, they didn't. They told me that the field service teams suggested that I was not eligible to grow any longer, which shocked me. Quite honestly, I was offended, particularly since I said to the vice president that you called and asked me to purchase a 16th restaurant, and at that time I was unexpandable. And nowhere had I been notified that I wasn't unexpandable until they awarded this store, and that's the way it's going to be. So I can tell you what happened next, Roland. I saw the global chief of franchising at a meeting in Houston, and he said to me that I heard you making trouble down there in Atlanta. I said, well, what do you mean? He says that you are angry about not getting that store. I said, no, that's not what happened. The vice president has a right to award the store to who he wants to, even if he changes his mind, right? What I was concerned about was that the standard had changed and that he tried to convince me that there were two standards in play here. Now, I can tell you, Roland, I was the what they call the real team chair for the East Division, which was the committee that was an expert on the franchise agreement. Our role was to teach the operators in the division about the franchise agreement. So I was the last person to say that something in that franchise agreement or the rules that I was not going to be one that didn't understand that. And so when I challenged them, they sent out 2 field service managers to do inspections late on a Friday night at my restaurants, which I told the franchising officer that I thought that was unfair and that sucked, basically. And from there, it just went on downhill.
Quinn, when we talk about your other plaintiffs, and I've heard and I've talked to different franchisees, former franchisees over the years, some complained about that people, first of all, don't understand the process, that most McDonald's are owned by individual owners. They're called franchisees. McDonald's owns the land, but McDonald's also has requirements. And some franchisees have said that they've been asked to do upkeep, to rebuild stores, things along those lines, and that's money that's coming out of their pocket. And so, beside what Kenneth has laid out, what are some of the other allegations that these former franchisees are making?
Sure. So the beauty of this lawsuit is there are individuals who come from different walks of life around the country, but they have shared experiences. One of our clients, he's been very outspoken. His name is Van Jakes. He's a former football player based out of Atlanta. And him and several other of our clients share stories similar to Ken. It's once they started expressing frustration with the unequal treatment, there was retaliation. And that's actually one of our claims, is that in many ways, some of our clients were forced out of the McDonald's system because they were getting out of line, asking questions, critiquing McDonald's actions in contrast with the franchise agreements. And McDonald's was asking them to play by a different set of rules. And that was especially concerning because for many of our clients, they were leaders in their respective regions. And like Ken, they knew the rules verbatim. Some of them helped craft the rules. And it is disparaging when they're asked to do things that other white owners specifically were not asked to do in their respective regions and around the country.
Let me piggyback on that for a second, Roland, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
When I went to sell my 3 stores to my brother, before I could even get it out when they called and asked me who was I selling my 3 restaurants. There were 3 very good restaurants in North Carolina. Jeff Wilfong, QSCVP in Raleigh, said that he was not going to approve the deal. Not even had I sent the contract up or put in front of him any terms of the deal. When I put in front of him the terms of the deal, they denied the deal and gave a reason that was not a business reason. They went so far as to, after 3 months of going back and forth, conference calls, meetings, they decided to only allow my brother to buy 2 of the 3 restaurants. And went so far as to, and I can tell you, Marty Ranf went so far to take money from the company and give it to the operator who was going to buy the other store that they would not allow my brother to buy, because the other operator did not want to pay me full value. So they put $170,000 into the deal, coded it something different, just so I could not sell my 3 stores to my brother. And then afterwards, I get a letter months later stating from Chief Legal Counsel of Franchising, John Richardson, stating that I could not buy the restaurants back from my brother, when white operators routinely buy their restaurants back and forth from family members. There was no such rule. For a period of 10 years, there was no such rule.
Quinn, there was a period for almost 3 years where McDonald's had a black CEO over the company worldwide. That was Don Thompson. That was 2012, 2015. Please go to my iPad, guys. Come on. And this is Don Thompson here. And the board felt the stock price had not recovered. And so then he was replaced by Steve Easterbrook. Quinn, do your franchisees allege that the atmosphere at McDonald's completely changed post Don Thompson? I know there are others have said that there were a significant number of African Americans who were in senior level positions when he was the CEO, and ever since then, that has changed dramatically.
Sure. I think that the respective clients have different views about their experiences with Don Thompson's leadership, but everybody shares a collective view that McDonald's is an institution, and it's only so much one individual can do. But certainly during the time of Don Thompson, franchisees continued to struggle. Not to say that he didn't put forth significant effort to try to improve that situation. But since the leadership of Chris Kay and Easterbrook, there has been a dramatic decline in the number of black franchisees and experiences. And our clients like Ken Manning can speak directly to what their experiences were during those changes.
Well, it is, so again, you have 47 folks who are involved in this particular lawsuit. And so certainly keep us up to date. What happens next as it relates to your lawsuit against McDonald's?
Thank you, Roland.
Thank you, Roland, for having us.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, folks, I'm going to introduce my panel now, bring them into. First of all, before we do that, this is the statement that McDonald's released. It says, quote, as a brand that serves millions of people every day, McDonald's opens our doors to everyone, and our commitment to inclusion remains steadfast. We welcome honest dialogue with the communities we serve, but we're disappointed to see these misleading claims that distort our values and misrepresent our actions. Now, also, of course, not tied to this lawsuit, McDonald's recently settled their lawsuit with Byron Allen, where he alleged that the company was not doing business with him advertising-wise. And again, that lawsuit was scheduled to go to trial, and then it was settled. Full disclosure, McDonald's previously advertised with us here at the Black Star Network. They have not done so in 2 years, and so the last time they did was in 2023, and that was the last time they did. So that's what happened there. All right, folks. Rob Patillo, who is communications director for Congressman Jonathan Jackson, joins us from Atlanta. Rebecca Carruthers, executive vice president, Fair Election Center out of D.C. Tylik McMillan, social justice leader and movement strategist out of D.C. Rebecca, when you look at this protest being launched against McDonald's, you are seeing how different people are moving. Of course, we remember when you had efforts to unionize Starbucks. Then, of course, you have this here. You are seeing different workers in different groups, the type of actions they are taking against various companies. And that's the case with the People's, with this group launching this 1 week boycott.
So I really want us as a Black community to move towards a comprehensive boycott strategy. Just like we have international sanctions and foreign affairs, they are effective, but they're never meant to go on for years at a time. It has to be targeted, it has to be specific, it has to have specific outcome. What's interesting with McDonald's and its appearance to move back from DEI, like I remember all the time in the 90s, the aughts, the 2010s, when McDonald's had 365 Black. And McDonald's spent a lot of time talking about diversity. But what's also interesting in listening to McDonald's statement of saying that it has to keep its practices in line to its bottom line, but also it needs to be inclusive for all. One thing that's interesting is that as we talk about on the show, DEI primarily benefits white women. But when we hear about these DEI pullbacks, it's more of, oh, you can't do things that are too much for Black people, because for some reason, I guess the assumption is it's going to be to the detriment of everyone else. So it's really interesting hearing these corporations talking about they're taking a scale back on DE&I efforts because they want to be inclusive for all. It's almost as if they forgot what the I stands for.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.